Immerse yourself into the world of Creepy Man. He's waiting for you.
Hey everyone, my name is Jake, and I'm from Millbrook. I've always been the kind of person who never believed in ghosts or the paranormal, until one night that changed everything. What I'm about to share with you is the scariest experience of my life, and it still haunts me to this day. It was supposed to be just another weekend road trip. Me, Tyler, and Sam had been planning it for weeks, a break from the monotony of everyday life. We were cruising through the countryside, the sun hanging low in the sky when our car's tire suddenly blew out. Of course, it had to happen in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by an endless sea of cornfields. No one in sight for miles. We got out, scratching our heads, trying to figure out what to do. Then we saw it. A farmhouse in the middle of the cornfield, half hidden by the tall stalks. It wasn't too far away, and we figured they might have a spare tire or at least a phone. So we started making our way through the cornfield, the stalks rustling unnervingly in the breeze. As we walked deeper into the field, we noticed something strange. Scarecrows. Dozens of them. They were eerily lifelike, wearing old, tattered clothes and positioned at odd angles, almost as if they were watching us. I felt an uneasy chill creep down my spine. These weren't normal scarecrows. When we reached the farmhouse, the main door was wide open. There was no sign of anyone around, but we could hear the steady whir of a sewing machine coming from upstairs. Sam wanted to go inside to check it out, but Tyler and I thought it was better to stay outside and maybe wait for someone to come by. After some back and forth, Sam decided to go in on his own. Tyler and I hung around outside for a while, but as the sun started to dip below the horizon, Sam still hadn't returned. The place felt unnervingly quiet now, the only sound coming from the occasional rustle of corn in the breeze. The scarecrows seemed to have shifted position, but I chalked it up to my mind playing tricks on me. Still, I couldn't shake the growing sense of dread. We decided to head back to the house to find Sam. As we walked, Tyler suddenly stopped and pointed. That scarecrow wasn't there before. I followed his gaze and my blood ran cold. It looked disturbingly like Sam. Same height, same build, and the clothes. It couldn't be, right? But the resemblance was uncanny. Then, all of a sudden, the whispers began softly, like a breeze weaving through the cornfield. At first, I tried to brush it off as the wind, just nature playing tricks. But the sound became distinct, clearer with every step.
Turn back.
Too late.
He's watching.
The words slid through the air, coming from everywhere and nowhere. My stomach knotted as I grabbed Tyler's arm. "Do you hear that?" I whispered, my voice barely audible over the eerie murmur. Tyler's face was pale, his wide eyes darting around. "It's voices," he stammered. The whispers surrounded us, growing louder, almost drowning out my own thoughts. The corn stalks swayed without wind, their rustling amplifying the unease. I could swear the shadows among the stalks were moving, shifting toward us. And then, all at once, the whispers stopped. The sudden silence was suffocating, pressing down on me like a weight.
Run,
a guttural voice commanded, reverberating through the air. My body locked up in terror before instinct took over. Tyler and I sprinted blindly, the corn stalks clawing at us, the whispers rising again in a chaotic chorus behind us. The field felt alive, its tendrils reaching to trap us. With hearts pounding, we rushed into the farmhouse, not bothering to knock this time. The farmhouse was quiet, too quiet. Every creak of the old floorboards beneath my boots sent a shiver down my spine. Tyler and I entered a room that seemed untouched by time. Dust hung thick in the air, and the faint smell of mildew made my nose crinkle. In the corner stood an old mirror, its surface clouded and cracked. Something about it pulled me closer, like it wanted me to see something. I took a hesitant step forward and froze. My reflection wasn't moving. My chest tightened as I stared at the still figure. Its hollow eyes bore into mine, and its lips slowly stretched into an unnatural, crooked smile. "Jake, we need to go," Tyler said urgently, tugging at my sleeve, but I couldn't look away. The reflection raised its hand, pointing directly behind me. My breath caught in my throat as I turned slowly, expecting the worst. But there was nothing there, just empty air. When I whipped back around, the reflection was gone. Only the empty, cracked surface of the mirror remained, and the room felt darker, colder. The sewing machine was still going upstairs. As we climbed the stairs, the tension in the air was suffocating. When we reached the room, we saw her, an old woman, her face pale and gaunt, sitting at the machine. She wasn't sewing clothes, though. She was stitching something much more sinister. She turned to look at us, her hollow eyes sending shivers down my spine. "Are you looking for your friend?" she asked, her voice rasping like dry leaves. We demanded to know where Sam was. She gave us a ghostly smile and in the most chilling tone said, "He's in the field, with the others." It clicked then. The scarecrow we saw earlier, it wasn't just a scarecrow. Tyler grabbed my arm, and without a second thought, we bolted out of the house. The cornfield seemed to close in around us as we ran, our footsteps muffled by the tall stalks. I swear I could hear the woman's laughter echoing behind us. We didn't stop running until we reached the police station. Our legs were burning, lungs aching, but fear kept pushing us forward. The streets were eerily quiet, our panicked footsteps echoing off the pavement in the still night. We burst through the doors, breathless, collapsing at the front desk, struggling to explain what had happened. The officers looked at us with disbelief as we recounted the events, their expressions shifting from concern to skepticism. At first, they thought we were pulling some kind of prank or that we were just hysterical from being lost. But something about the sheer terror in our eyes made them reconsider. After some hesitation, 2 officers agreed to come with us to the farmhouse. I wish they hadn't. When we finally returned, the place looked completely different, abandoned, as if no one had lived there for years. The windows were shattered, the front door hanging off its hinges. Vines crawled up the walls, overtaking the house as if it had been left to rot for decades. The vibrant, well-kept farmhouse we had seen just hours ago was gone, replaced by this decaying shell. One of the officers glanced at us, his brow furrowed. "Are you sure this is the place?" We nodded, hearts pounding, knowing something was terribly wrong. There were no scarecrows in the field, no sewing machine upstairs, no sign of Sam or the strange woman. It was as if every trace of life had been wiped clean. The officers searched every inch of the farmhouse, from the attic to the cellar, but found nothing. No footprints, no signs of a struggle, nothing. It was like the entire place had vanished into thin air, leaving behind only the shell of a forgotten ruin. We stood outside, watching helplessly as they combed through the empty rooms, feeling the weight of dread settle in. Sam was nowhere to be found. The fields, once filled with crops, were now barren and overgrown. The cops finally called off the search, shaking their heads in frustration. There was nothing more they could do. We left empty-handed, with no answers, and to this day, I have no idea what happened to Sam. He's just gone. It's as if he never existed. Sometimes I think about going back to that farmhouse, but the thought of what I might, or might not, find keeps me away. It's been years since that night, but I can't shake the memory. The events of that night have lingered in the back of my mind, like a shadow I can't escape. Every time I drive past a cornfield, I find myself scanning the horizon, looking for Sam. I know it sounds crazy, but sometimes I swear I see him, just standing there, motionless, blending into the rows of tall stalks, watching. It's always just a glimpse, a figure in the distance, and when I blink or look again, he's gone. But the feeling stays with me. That eerie sense of being watched, of something or someone out there just beyond reach. I try to convince myself it's just my imagination, the guilt of that night playing tricks on me. But deep down, I can't help but wonder, what if Sam is still out there, trapped in that place between worlds, unable to leave? I'll never know for sure, but one thing's certain. Every time I pass a cornfield, I can't help but look for him, hoping for answers I'll probably never get. And that's where our story ends. Or maybe it doesn't. To this day, no one knows what really happened to my friend that night. Some say it was all a twisted illusion, but I know what I saw, and I'll never forget that scarecrow staring back at me, wearing his face. Do you have a story that chills you to the bone? Maybe something strange that happened to you, or a tale you've heard from friends? If so, we want to hear it. Send us your personal experiences or the scariest stories you've come across, and who knows, your story could be featured in our next episode. Before you go, don't forget to share this video, hit that like button if it scared you just a little, and subscribe to the channel for more terrifying tales. And hey, hit that bell icon so you never miss a new episode. You wouldn't want to miss what's coming next. Your support is the most important thing to us. Every like, share, and subscription helps us continue to bring these spine-chilling stories to life. So thank you, and remember, you never know what's lurking just beyond the cornfield.